Are encouraged. Fact.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
I need more coffee. Waldo, get me more coffee. Ay.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Hot coffee.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
I'm a crooked guy, what can I tell you? Let me tell you. All right, I just told you. When you see, I'm running out of time here. And now, Dan just wants to rock on and let's start talking, and then, wait, I'm not going to let you say that. Don't have enough time. Good morning, folks. It is Monday, November 13th, 2023. Wonderful fucking cold day here. Hope it's a beautiful day where you are. Hopefully you're in the southern hemisphere getting a suntan on your balls. I don't know. Today is the 500th episode of Coffee with the Dog. Willie said we should do something special for this, so we're doing something special for this. Andy Andrus is the scheduled guest and the only scheduled guest because I didn't want to have a guest after him or before him and muddy stuff up. Andy was the first guest I had on Coffee with the Dog. The very first show we did, I didn't have a guest. I think the second or third show Andy was on. Anyway, the way it came about, I was basically doing 2 shows a day, 7 days a week during the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. And then I always wanted to be the morning guy. But, of course, the radio stations I was on were not about to let me be the morning guy. The morning guy is the best spot on radio, even though you have to get up early. It's when people really listen. And people are more attentive and engaged in the morning because they're driving to work or their alarm clock went off and it's playing the station that they're tuned to. So, or I'm thinking old school, right? I know in your phone it's not on a clock radio anymore. But in those days it was. And so the morning show was the coveted spot. I was the midnight guy, the guy you put on when nobody's listening, everybody's in bed, nobody's listening to radio, especially talk radio. That was my spot. So I always wanted to do a morning spot. And I said, you know what? And I decided on Sunday night, I'm going to get up early tomorrow and do a show with nobody listening. And that's how the show came to be. And now you know all the history you need to know. Thanks for coming. Have a great day. I'm a little surprised to see Willie in the back there. I thought Willie's going to be taking off a couple of days. I'm not going to get into why. But he's the reason, 500 episode, you should do something special. Is this special? No, Andy is special. He's very special. Hope you had a great weekend. I just want to make this observation about my weekend. Saturday night, place was packed. First gig with the band in probably a month, which is the longest I think I've ever gone in the last 25 years without doing a full band gig. And the place was packed. And so much so that the owner of the venue voluntarily paid more than the contract was for. That doesn't happen very often. But that just thrilled that she did so much business that night. Here's a few extra $100 for you. Um, Very rare thing. Then yesterday I had my gig at the Sunday thing I've been doing at Daisy's in Patchogue, and that place. When I got there was nobody there, absolutely nobody there. And I was like, "What happened to this place?" And Brian, the manager, said, "They'll be in." And sure enough, they did start coming in, and the place got packed out. By the time I left, it's a 2 to 5 gig on Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the point I'm getting to here will become evident eventually. Uh, I left, the place was totally packed, totally packed. A lot of pretty women in there, a lot of pretty women in there, which is a whole other story. But when I left, I went a different route. I'm going through the alley, and there's restaurants and venues and clubs all over this street in Patchogue. And Patchogue's a pretty small village. It's a suburb. But every single venue was packing out in the afternoon on a Sunday. Packing out. Parties happening everywhere. Party Central. And I'm thinking about all these people are complaining about how bad things are in America. We're partying our balls off on a Sunday afternoon, spending money like there's no tomorrow. People packing out clubs. And again, Patchogue is not New York City. It's a suburb, a small town, packed to the gills of people partying, spending money. And I'm just thinking, there's a disconnect here between the people who are complaining about how bad things are and the reality of we're partying like it's 1999 again. Anyway, that was my observation yesterday, but great weekend for me. Satisfying weekend. The one thing I will mention is that at one point I tried texting this, but voice to text in a crowded bar doesn't work so well. At one point, when about 20 minutes into the gig, there were 30, I counted them, 30 beautiful, I mean beautiful women at the bar, and one dude, young guy, 25, 26 years old, good-looking guy, and he's sitting there looking straight ahead and not even noticing he's surrounded by beautiful women. And I'm thinking, there's something wrong here. Either he's drinking away a problem, or he's gay, or he's just oblivious. But there's a problem here because me at 25, 26 years old, first of all, I doubt I'd be in a bar at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. And I never would be surrounded by beautiful women and not noticing it, not even knowing they're there. So I don't know. Maybe the world is changing. Maybe attitudes among young men are changing. Maybe he was gay. Although if you're a gay guy, I don't think you go to a country bar on a Sunday afternoon, especially when it's packed with just beautiful women. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Anyway, Willie is here today. Let him in. And now the Rev, who I need to talk to about his sermon yesterday, which is more blasphemy. And we have
Was it?
that guy, Carl. Good morning, Carl. Oh,
Hello.
Carl, good
How you
to
doing?
see you.
how are you? What's going on? You're bummed out, and we want to cheer you out. Everybody, cheer Carl up. Say, be happy, Carl.
Be happy, Carl.
See,
I always go
It
with
is.
right to the silly face is what I
It is.
do. I don't.
It is full merch. Husky Bio merch. Everywhere you buy merch. No, I'm good. I'm all good. I've just got a gammy leg.
what's this thing about dragging a leg behind you? What'd you do?
I just injured my leg on Saturday. It's fine. It's just I just can't walk correctly.
So
but
you're
I'm
walking like that dude in Shocker.
just like a zombie, yeah. Or I don't know. Or as my dog just said, maybe gay men walk like zombies. Certainly shouldn't be anywhere that's not full of other gays.
That's
What?
that's true.
That's
Now,
ridiculous.
there is a god is trending on Twitter today, and it has to do with a leg injury in soccer. Of all things, Megan Rapaport, whatever her name is, she hurt her leg, and this is what she said: if there is a God, this is proof that there isn't. She hurt her leg in a final game, but she said, if there is a God, this is proof there isn't. Is that a fucked up sentence or what? I mean, am I? If there is, this is proof there isn't.
I mean, she was probably in a lot of pain, so she wasn't making a lot of sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but now it's
She's
trending.
upset.
But
Well, yeah, because it's trending because she said something that makes no sense. It's like she's
No,
probably
it's trending because
trying to
people hate
say that, like, if you believe in God, this happening to me right here, right now, is proof that your God is garbage. I think that's what she's really trying to say.
probably something like that. But it's just a day for fucked up sentences. I posted this thing. The flat Earth guy said these words on this program, or not this program, but my other program. Said I asked him if all flat Earth people were just fucking crazy, and he said actually that couldn't be farther from the opposite of the truth. Couldn't be farther from the opposite of the truth. Anyway, it's just a day for fucked up sentences.
Speaking
Anyway,
of fucked up sentences, I don't always drink coffee, but when I do, I put a little bump in it for the Lord.
Yeah, hell
well,
yeah,
if there is, that's proof that there isn't.
yeah, definitely. If there is,
Couldn't be farther from the opposite of the truth.
Yeah, what does that mean? We need to send a team.
Well, it couldn't be further from the opposite of the truth. Where are you,
What?
Willie? Are you
What
still
was
in
that
New Mexico?
thing? There was a line in Hustle and Flow that was like this. Like I could be wrong, but I could be wrong right now. What the fuck? Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen Hustle and Flow? You know what line I'm talking about?
No, we don't see fucking movies.
No one
If
else.
anybody
It's
saw the movie-
it's about as sensible as all that. I can't remember how it goes. I'm sorry. I'll shut
Are
up.
you in New Mexico still? Or are you?
I am.
All right. Yeah,
which is fine. Which is we're figuring things out. But yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I wanted to be here today, especially because it's 500.
because it's your fault where I'm even making a big
I mean,
deal out of it.
that was part of it. I was like, I'm the one that made like a big to do. Like, I better be there. You know what I mean? Like,
it wouldn't hurt if we weren't. But you guys should take care of your shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, were any of you guys in church yesterday? Because there was a church service. Yes, I know.
I was not.
Rev was. He said.
Sorry, Rev.
He said there's no Santa Claus.
Well, okay, who do you say it to? Because if you say it to anybody under the age of 10, you're an asshole.
He said he said it to everybody in the whole world. He said it to.
Just out of curiosity, why am I the asshole?
No, okay, because I mean, I don't know, because as society, we made like this collective agreement that we're gonna fucking deceive our children until they reach the age of reason. You know what I mean? And here's the other thing: the last thing you want is your kid to be the kid that tells his whole class. You know what I mean? Like, that's the worst. That's the fucking worst. You're gonna get some calls.
Let him talk.
I don't think that's the worst thing you want for your kid. I think having a kid that thinks for himself and is intelligent is probably the best thing. Especially if you can teach him how to take the consequences and be bold.
Well, let me just say that there is a Santa Claus. The reason your proof didn't stand up, or you could not prove that the existence of Santa Claus, is because Santa Claus doesn't come to black houses. He's a white supremacist Santa Claus.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Santa's a racist?
Yes, absolutely.
God, that explains so much.
It definitely explains why the Rev could not prove the existence of Santa Claus, because he was doing it through toothpicks on windows and all this stuff. He ain't coming to your house.
Yeah. And he always only brought me green or brown army men. So there is a color thing there.
Because he did come to my brother is several shades lighter than me, and he got all the stuff. I never got anything, because I was assumed to be brown baby or something.
I have to say,
or your parents liked him better.
Oh well, that's no question about that. That's 100% true. My
Yeah.
parents liked him better. They didn't even want me, and they still don't want me. Even though they're dead, they still don't want me. They're like,
It's like they're just dreading you coming and joining them in heaven.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah,
fucking goddamn it.
let's
Not gonna be long from that.
Just out of curiosity, of the people that you know that are old enough to be your parents, would you have swapped your parents for one of them, and who?
That's Albert Brooks.
No, I said people that you know. Like in your family. Yeah, because I'm just saying people that you know. Besides that, Albert Brooks is only a few years older than us. He's like, 80?
82, 83, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's old enough to be
You
my
just
dad.
want Albert Brooks because you like his wife.
Well, I just want him to hear that so he will agree to come on the program. That's all.
Well, just announce that he's funnier than Tom Segura.
I have said that. Believe me, I said that to his assistant the other day, who refuses to get back to me. Anyway, no. To answer your question, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want any parents. I'm happy not having parents.
Yeah, but at one point you sort of had parents. I mean,
not really. Not really. Carl will tell you. Carl, tell him. I never had any parents. I
didn't say role
Chinese
models.
Parents for a week.
Yeah.
I'm not talking role models. I'm talking, people, that
people who raised
like,
you.
Yeah, around, my mother maintained that she didn't raise me.
Right.
And I will agree with her, but she was there.
Right. Well, my parents were absentee parents. They lost me at a racetrack at 3 years old. So.
It seems that you're raised.
Yeah.
It seems that you're raised so well with good ideas and foundations. How did this happen?
That's a good question. Bugs Bunny did a good job with me.
Well, I think his early experience, like when you go through a lot in life teaches you, the experiences that you go through, they have a way of teaching you much more, especially if what you have at home isn't really very educational. And like a lot of the stuff I learned from my dad and stuff like that, I learned the opposite. You know what I mean? Like I saw what he did and I knew that wasn't good or whatever. So I know not to be that way.
So you went to prison.
Did he talk?
Right, but I mean, it's not like I learned those lessons right away. You know what I'm saying? But like, and as I look back and I ponder and I consider all those things, like I learned through those experiences.
There was a video I wanted to check out last night, thinking of you. It was called 10 Unwritten Rules in Prison. Unwritten rules in prison. I have not looked at it yet, so don't spoil it for me. But obviously, one is don't pick up the soap. Don't bend over to pick up the soap.
Right.
Where was this?
Where was it? On YouTube.
So it's a video.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's still unwritten. I was just checking because if it's like
it's
a blog
spoken
or
now, but probably transcribed and
yeah. There's probably subtitles, so it is kind of written.
Right. Speaking of prison, well, no, Andy's never been to prison that I know of, but possibly. Anyway, the man of the hour is here. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Murray. Oh, good morning, Andy. What are we having issues?
Where is he at?
He can't hear us.
I don't see him.
Andy.
Hey.
How are you? Good morning. Thanks for getting up early. Whoa. Where the hell are you? It looks like you're in a bar. Oh, you can't hear.
God damn it, I can't hear.
It's probably his bedroom, which is great. I love that his bedroom probably looks like a bar. That's fucking awesome.
I don't. God damn it, I can't hear. I can hear myself.
It's probably his bedroom, which is great. I love
that. That's quite the delay.
We got echo.
No, my bedroom's rented.
We're in
issues with Andy. We're having some issues with Andy.
That's quite the delay. We got echo. No, my bedroom's rented.
We're issues with
Andy. Yeah, there's definitely a delay and an echo.
Oh, Will, you're muted. Will,
I'm muted.
You're muted.
Am I muted?
You're muted. No, you're not. No, you're not muted.
God, you see, and then I gotta,
No, we're just fucking with you because we're trying to kill some time while Andy gets his issues sorted out.
It's an easy thing to do.
All right, so there was blasphemy.
Oh yeah, we
Oh
didn't
no,
even
you
get
try.
to
No,
that.
no. Okay, okay. Oh, I got
Right. Well, you start off with just a bump for the Lord. That's blasphemy right away.
you.
That no,
You think that the Lord is an
that
alcoholic?
no no no
That's a
no.
tribute.
Wait, this
That's a
way
tribute.
you gotta understand that when you're listening to the Lord, it's good to have a little liquor in your system because it opens up your heart, it warms your heart a little bit, it softens you for the message.
The
So I definitely agree
the
with that little bump for the
suggestion there
Lord.
that was the bump was for the Lord, not for him.
It is.
Yeah,
It's a
but it's so
tribute.
that he
It's a
can better
tribute.
receive the message the Lord is sending.
It's a tribute.
That's right.
Before I take
That's
mine,
right.
I give him his.
Well, and he doesn't need it. That's
Oh, he does.
blasphemy.
Listen,
No, believe me.
you've never heard a message from the Lord and it just made you just nice and warm right here, like a good stiff shot, you know?
Ian Lord, the keyboard player for Deep Purple, yes, I've heard that and I felt that. Anyway,
And Tracy
I'm
Lord. But
and Andy's still struggling with his thing over there. Hey, Carl, did you see Oasis playing in a pub acoustically last night in your neighborhood?
What do you mean?
They were not no, Oasis. I'm sorry, Green Day. Set up
Oh yeah, yeah.
and
They've done a couple of surprise shows recently. I think they did one in London and one in. I think he just turned up at the 100 Club last week or a few months ago, and then there was something else the other day, right?
they just crash in a pub with like acoustic guitars and going in and
Yeah.
playing.
That's great.
Yeah, it's totally great. I don't know why I said Oasis because I've been thinking
It's
because
just
Noel
just to see.
been
It's
they
just to
have
see of
similar
phones
styles.
in their faces, though, you know.
yeah.
Oasis and Green Day actually play very similar styles of music. Yeah.
Do they?
Oh yeah. I can't tell. I couldn't tell them apart.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
I'm
it.
not really familiar
Eddie,
with
can you hear
Oasis,
us
so I
yet?
wouldn't know.
Yeah.
All right. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for getting
Yeah.
up early.
Yeah.
Now he's locked down.
Yeah,
It
now
started
he's
so
frozen.
beautifully. It started so beautifully.
Yeah. You there? Can you hear us?
Listen, what would episode 500 be without technical difficulties?
No, definitely. And if you know anything,
This is
you
it.
guys, I don't know if you know about Issues with Andy, but it got its name. The podcast got its name just because of stuff like this, connection issues for Andy.
Right.
We're having
Right.
issues with Andy.
Oh, yeah. It's all
Hey, he's
buffering.
waving again. Hey, he's
Now, Andy, where are you? It looks like you're in a bar.
No, I'm in my. This is my man cave, but it's outdoors.
Wow,
nice.
an outdoor man. So it's got to be fucking cold as hell, right?
Well,
Not
look at
right
the
now.
guy. He's wearing fucking a coat and a hat. Yeah, he's
It
bundled
gets
up.
cold. I mean, it'll. There's
Somebody
nothing,
get Wilhelmina.
There's nothing.
It's cold here too. It's like 50 degrees in this house, bro.
Yeah, no, it's cold as fuck in New York right now. It's like 30. It's not freezing. It's 33, but it's getting close. You know, a little frost on the pumpkin. Anyway, Andy, what's new with you, man? You were in Austin for a week doing the
That's
show
right.
down there, and did you do some stand up that while you were there?
I did do a few sets, three, I think. One, two. Yeah. Anyway, I did stand up. I stood up and I talked into a mic, and people didn't. Yeah, it worked out all right.
Oh, wow, very cool.
I'm not on a comeback tour yet, but I'm piecing it together that I can do that shit.
Now, speaking of comeback tours, I wanted to mention that you were the very first guest on this program, and at that time you had cancer but didn't know it yet.
Woo.
You did.
Really?
You,
Yeah.
you were just coming off of the Farrell's gig where you were puking behind a dumpster or something.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Ironically, that was called Roscoe's in Eugene. No, that was in Portland, and then I just did a Roscoe's. So in Austin. So it was like the Roscoe's could have been the worst gig to die on. I mean, it was like a shitty turnout. I did sell a shirt or two to a stripper. It was connected to a strip club, and as I blacked out after a couple of shots, and I was coming to on the sidewalk, and I looked up, and there's one of the strippers who bought my shirt, and she was like, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." I didn't.
Little did you know you weren't
Yeah,
fine.
not really fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Full of cancer. unable to, do a modest amount of drinking before a show.
Right. So you've been through a whole lot in the last couple of years. Do you feel like that's all? You feel like it's all in the past, or is it like?
No, fuck no. I just feel like it's looming. The guy that my oncologist this last time he came in and he was I just did a scan, so I got cleared. But he goes, well, there's a dark cloud, and then I kept waiting for him to make more of that. But it's just that whatever he sees is a dark cloud. That's how it looks to him. It's not cancer, but it's like
Could be just
you
in
might as well have said
society.
tick. Yeah, so tick tick tick. There's this dark cloud, but oh, by the way, you don't have cancer right now. But it's like you just said there's a dark cloud.
You sure he wasn't looking over your head, like
Yeah.
a dark cloud following you around?
Right.
Maybe so, but yeah. So each time that comes up, there's different. I mean, I've had two of them, and each time I was sure I had cancer. So it's like kind of maybe I don't have the right mindset for going forward positively. I'm just waiting for a shoe to
that's a
drop
tough
and living
thing.
in between.
I mean, yeah, that's got to be the toughest part.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Andy. I'm probably the only person here who actually doesn't know you.
Hey, Dr. Joey.
And you muted. You muted.
Who, me?
No, Rev.
No.
Rev, you just muted yourself or something. Your lips are moving and we can't hear you. That's
Not
good,
only is
though.
Santa
This
Claus-
is one of the best sermons he's ever delivered.
Not only is Santa Claus racist, apparently, Mind Dog can mute the.
No, you muted, Rev. You're muted, I'm telling you. You got an X on your microphone. I didn't do it. Maybe Willie did it.
God communicates differently.
Well, just a spoiler alert. The Rev is not a real Rev.
How do you get a collar if he's not?
It's business card turned around.
He's also just doing blackface.
Yeah,
That's
he's
all
not
it
even
looks
really
like.
black. He's a white guy.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's not.
They
That's
didn't
not
have full
okay, guys.
black.
That's
He had
fucked
to
It is.
go with that.
Well,
Jesus.
and now he just totally disappeared. Oh, he just fixed something, I
If
guess.
he
Just
smiles,
Robert
you'll see
Downey
his
Jr.
eyes
in
and
it
his
over
teeth.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
So, about 2 months ago,
Oh my god. No,
probably the highlight of your career, you got to meet Carl Mann in
I
person.
did, yeah. Me and Carl. Not only did I did a meet and greet with him.
Wow.
We hung out, wandered around, smoked weed. I think. Yeah.
Wow, Carl smoked weed.
I know. I was. It's actually was part of my. That's what I do. I'm a. Fuck. What are they even? Border Patrol. So I get them into the country, let them all think it's all cool, freedom's all for everybody, and then he smokes weed. I got him on camera. He's not coming back.
Yeah, it's a lot. I had more weed in 3 days in Arizona than in the last 3 years. But it was fun.
Well, you had
It
a
was
lot
fun.
of weed. You had a lot of weed. Well, not a lot, but a lot for you with me in Manhattan, walking around Manhattan there, smoking pre-rolls of what was that? That was like moon rocks.
Oh,
pre-rolls.
moon
Oh my
rocks,
god, the
yeah.
moon rocks, dude, that's some heavy shit, bro. That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I
that's
know.
like what was the percentage on it? It had to be in the 50s.
Who remembers? It was almost a year.
I bet you
ago
that's
now.
like probably 56, 58% that moon rock shit. Oh my god.
Right.
He's
Like-
doing voodoo.
Were you super impressed with Carl's height? He's like 6'9", right? In
No,
person.
he's it's hard to gauge his height because of the weight.
I stoop as well. I stoop and then the
And
gut
I
hangs.
stoop.
I'm
And
guessing
I
he's
stoop.
between 5'11
Oh my
and
God.
6'3.
You're just gonna be a hunchback in 20 years. You're just gonna be.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you guys are even aware, but I sent Patrick Fitzgerald, the Irish heckler. That was my doing. I actually sent that guy. It was part of.
Well, he was the next day when I saw him, he didn't have the Irish accent. I think he's in the CIA. It was very strange.
Yeah, no, he was a plan. I sent him. He won that trip on Mind Dog TV.
Another fake competition.
To go heckle Carl in Bisbee, Arizona.
Oh,
I
that's
don't want to lose. I don't want to lose the ugly contest. I hear the penalty is self-imposed penalty of losing Mind Dog's ugly contest.
Yeah. Jess says she loves your background. She feels at home. Well, that seems like a bar, though. You
Mine,
don't
it
live
is
in a bar.
TGI Friday. I got Gary Busey and Trump with the Trump sticker on him.
Wow.
Which that's a unique.
Do you
Yeah,
follow
it is.
Gary Busey on Twitter
Yeah,
there?
he's
Or?
having a rough go of it, man.
Wow.
Like when I met Gary, he was clear-eyed. Well, not clear-eyed, but he sort of made sense. And now I see him, and he get hitting and run. Like
Man,
he gave me advice, and I would like to give him advice on how to elude. It's like he hits a car, and then he just drives oblivious up the road, and then she's like, "Hey, you hit my car," and he's like, "Nah, nah." It's like that's when you bang a quick right, you know. She says, "Oh, it looked like Gary Busey, but I don't know. That fucking car was out of there in a minute." But what's Gary do? What's
Right,
brain
right.
damage Gary do after hitting a car and driving off? He parks at a restaurant, and she pulls up beside him and berates him and shit. Like, you told me not to cut in line, Gary, so I feel like I owe you this. It's like, don't stop at that restaurant. Fake like you're stopping at the restaurant. Do a quick, misdirect and get the fuck out of there because you just committed a felony. Another one. Jerking off on the bench. Bummer. That's going to come back to haunt you.
yeah. He's got. I don't know if you've seen the butter sausage video that he put out.
Dude, it's fucking.
It's like,
Let's talk about buttered sausage.
yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, I never had it.
It's
Like,
cool.
what the hell?
It's
What's
cool.
it, what's
It's
it
like,
to? What's it for? What's it?
he seems so he has a kid's naiveness,
Yeah.
naivety, but I think it's because he got brain damage and he just so like you can give him a cinnamon roll and he's like, oh, I've never seen one of these. Holy shit! He just forgot
Yeah,
you
so
seen him.
there's absolutely zero chance that he remembers telling you not to cut in line.
Did you unmute the Reverend?
I don't know.
I don't know if I'm working or not. I
Oh,
was.
there you
Yeah, you're working.
Oh, you what?
Okay.
All good, man.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He's
You want to
now.
finish your thought from before? You were saying hello to Andy and introducing yourself.
Yeah, I was just saying that I'm maybe the only person who doesn't know who you are, and I don't apologize. I have a life of my own, but
Yeah.
I did try to research you on the Wikipedias, and I was just wondering, have you ever read your own Wikipedia?
Mm, years ago, I think I don't even know who put it out, but I
Let me
read
see
it
what it
years
said.
ago, and it seemed accurate enough.
I was
It
about to
seemed
ask you, is there anything
accurate
you wanted to
enough.
add or change? I didn't know.
Probably. I mean, I try not to even get involved with that world of like Googling myself.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I
Well,
would
that
never.
can be sad when people Google
Oh
themselves.
man, yeah.
I just wondered if you wikid yourself.
No, I want to do well, I don't want to because it'll be depressing, but it's like sometimes when it says, do you want to know my net worth? Or, you can look up a person's net worth, and I'm like trying to find
Right.
money to get weed.
It's
But
never.
I'm pretty sure it's about $20 right now.
I think I should look up my net worth just to see what people think I'm worth.
Right. I think it,
Yeah.
like my real estate or the house I'm living in or something, I might be worth more than $20, but I don't,
Yeah,
that's
I
the internet's
generally
version.
dare identity thieves to steal my identity because, like, you, whatever you're going to do, it's going to improve my credit. I promise
Yeah.
you. Like,
Well,
I-
this
when
is
I run
funny.
my
This
credit card-
this
When
is
I run a credit card, I wait to, it's like, oh, that one doesn't work. I can imagine being an identity thief and, having that.
yeah,
oh,
right, right.
What name was that card under?
what it says on Wikipedia about you says Andrus is one of the original members of Doug Stanhope's comedy group known as the Unbookables. Other members of the Unbookables include Sean Rouse, Henry
Dead.
Phillips, Otto and
Dead.
George,
Dead.
Tom Rhodes, Augie Smith,
Dead.
Lynn Showcroft, Neil Hamburger, Travis Lipsky, Brendan Walsh, Joey Diaz, Christine Levine, Brett Erickson.
Wow.
No James
Yeah.
Inman.
Wow, that's funny.
Well, I was going to say
right?
maybe it sounds like Inman would have written that to bring up the Unbookables again, but if he didn't put
No,
himself
Inman would have
first,
put
then it's
himself
a
He
no,
didn't
right?
put himself in there.
Yeah, whoever did it is an anti-James Inman, and most of those folks there was no comedy troupe right away. It was just
Yeah.
like being labeled an asshole.
Yeah.
Labeled an asshole with Travis, Levine, and a few of those names on there.
Yeah, Joey Diaz was never an
No, fuck
unbookable.
no, he would call us a bunch of hippie assholes or something.
Yeah.
And he'd be right.
Yeah, I don't see Diaz fitting in with that group at all.
So we've got but there's two cancers and 3 dead out of that list. There's a few.
Oh.
Yeah, there wasn't as many dead. There was a guy who's not named there that was kind of, I never met him. I can't think of his name, but if you ever watch the Unbookables, there's at the end credits, there's a song "Anarchy in the Midwest,"
Right.
and he wrote that with another guy, and he was a comic, and he was the best unbookable of all of us because before he even was labeled an unbookable, he got, I guess he had a series of mishaps with law enforcement, as you do, and this night he had got pulled over, and he decided he just didn't want to participate in the legal process anymore, so he ran away from the cop, just taking a jog as you do, and leaped over a guard, like a overpass thing, and then sailed like an unbookable, and he was never booked again. But I'd like to think that's what we are, is unbookable. It has nothing to do with comedy. It's like if push comes to shove, I'm running from the cops.
That's interesting you say that. I remember when I first moved to Sioux Falls, I was working at this Taco John's, and I was the drive-through guy, and we had these hanging heat lamps for the near the drive-through for orders, like as they were ready.
God damn it!
Are you playing electric football?
What the hell is that?
Yeah, it sounds.
Is that my time? Is that my time? Are you putting a timer on me telling a story now? Is that what's happening?
It's funny you should
Just
mention that.
music coming up, man.
Because I was thinking of you as a Taco Bell guy and somebody coming up to place their order, and you'd be like, "Well, you can play. You know what I mean? You can place this order."
Actually, so being it was Taco John's. I was working at Taco John's, and that's how I got on the radio, was doing the drive-through at Taco John's. There was a guy for Augustana College came through and heard me on the speaker box and came up to the window. When he came up to the window, he's like, "Hey man, have you ever thought about doing radio?" And I was like, "I would love to." And that's how I started. I did for like 6 months. I did like a jazz and blues show on Monday afternoons.
Did you talk?
I mean a little bit, but no, not usually. I would. You know what?
I don't think.
I'm gonna maybe instead of being deaf, I should be mute. Is that what it is? Is that what we need to have happen?
I'm wondering if that guy just goes around to drive up windows and stuff like it's some,
and just
booming Taco Bell.
Just fucking people gives them hope.
You got a nice voice.
And then there's no real number.
Do you want salsa with that? You have the sexiest voice I've ever heard.
You could be a star, baby.
He drives over to Gallaudet College and says, "You have a sexy voice." They go,
Well,
Man,
let's
all
just
this love, I tell you.
let's just take a second here to sample Willie's sexy voice just a little bit. I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm just going to give you 10 seconds of it. But
is this the 20-minute cut or the extended version?
Yeah, we're playing a small.
To a better way to buy wine.
Andy hasn't seen this yet.
Nakedwines.com.
And he still hasn't.
Right.
he did a 3-minute commercial talking like he totally gayed this program up. I mean, it was pretty gay to start with. I'll admit that.
Listen, okay, I told you what I was going for. I wanted to make an ad that was like, if you put it in the middle of the ads during Up All Night with Rhonda Shear on USA Network back in like the mid.
That's not. This is more like a Up All Night with Richard Simmons. Oh, you're muted. You really are muted. You are muted. I'm not kidding. You're muted.
2 Mexi fries, a burrito, crisp.
You unmuted yourself and muted yourself again. There you go. Anyway, so yeah, I mean that's definitely what the guy at Taco Bell heard and well. He said, "This guy."
I had an upsell actually. So what it was is I had an upsell thing at the time that was really just outlandish, and that's what hooked him.
Okay.
Just think.
I'll give it to you if you want. I still remember.
No, thanks. No,
Do you ever
thanks.
think if you would have stayed at Taco
course
John's,
not.
you might be the manager or CEO of it by now?
Yeah.
And this guy dragged you into radio. You should go back to that Taco John's and shoot the place up, man.
Well, the district manager of Taco John's, Ted Miller, he told me I'll never work at another Taco John's again. So I mean, and he's still in charge of that region. I'm pretty sure.
There's We got Taco Time. I think it's out here in Eugene, so you could come work out here.
We got Taco Bell, and that's it. I've never heard of any of these Taco Joe, Taco Don,
Taco
Taco.
Time was a company in Eugene that went head to head with Taco Bell for a while, and they still
Wow.
make just as decent as shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Taco John's is pretty good. Their potato olays are amazing, and I mean, dude, they're in a bunch of states. They got to
He's
be in at
upselling
least
us.
8 or 9 different states. I bet the
Just
Taco
stick with the
John's.
Mexi fries. He's upselling.
I miss Jack in the Box. We used to have a Jack in the
Oh, I
Box
love
before
Jack
there
in
was
the
a
Box.
Taco Bell. That was like that was the best place to eat at 1 in the morning back in the day.
Or
Yeah,
send the SWAT team, which is our story I will tell on another date.
and with the title like Jack in the Box, you just won't, you have to have at least decent food. Otherwise, it's just over. That's just really one of the worst named franchises ever.
Yeah.
With
It
there
was
wasn't a second meeting, or somebody had too much power, and they said, "I want to name it Jack in the Box." And like, well, Bob, there is a. Well, never mind. Let's just call it Jack in the Box. It won't.
yeah. It was different times, man. It's hard to relate to what people were thinking back in those
Yeah,
days.
they
Anyway.
didn't realize they were directly advertising to the Republicans. There's young men working there. It's called Jack in the Box, and they're fucking leave church, and there's a big line of cars and honking and shit.
Yeah. You see, if you want to dip a little bit into the politics stuff, did you see Tim got his fake girlfriend didn't fly, and
Yeah,
so he dropped out of the race. He tried to, people think I'm gay, so he hired a girl to come on stage with him.
that was cool. I mean, that was like I wasn't he. That's when he first jumped on my radar as a potential candidate. It's like, he's doing the right thing.
Did he would hire a hooker to be his girlfriend?
Actually,
he
no,
hired
he
an
hired
actress.
some Canadian actress or something.
She didn't look like she. You can kind of tell when a girl's does it professionally. She
Yeah.
had a glimmer. She didn't know anything about it. It was like an acting gig, probably.
Right. And now all of a sudden he remembered that he's black because he was saying, well, he was basically in his saying that he was dropping out of the race. He's saying it's they're trying to say I'm gay because they can't say I'm black. Well, yes, they can. They could say
Yeah,
you're
they
black.
can. They say it all the time. They say he's the only black Republican senator. It's like that's the first thing they say. They say it before they say his name. They go like,
Mm-hmm.
"This black guy you're about to see here, he's the Republican candidate." That's no.
Yeah. He
So
should have
basically-
he should almost had a sweat like just a R, like a big like Laverne and Shirley. He has to wear an R because like, come on, you're not really a Republican, are you?
Well,
you
it's South-
talk like a Republican, but come on, really?
Yeah, South Carolina's a whole different.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think Mike Pence and Tim Scott should do a tour where they just go around and fuck each other.
The dropouts.
Yeah, the dropouts, and they go and they're like, "Oh, are they going to give a speech or do they do music?" No, I don't know what they do. They're the dropouts, and then you get in there and they just cornhole and sucking each other off and stuff, and they're fucking.
I think you're getting that tour mixed up with the Tim Scott, Lindsey Graham, South Carolina
Right,
tour.
yeah, Lindsay's holding the camera all shaky when they get into the scene. Yeah, this that's almost we're updating the Lemon Party.
We're going to try. I've actually looked into getting Will some press credentials so he could go to some of these guys and ask them like ridiculous questions. He could be our
man.
stuttering John.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
rambling Will is basically.
I'm dude. Yes, yeah. What bumbling? Yeah, whatever you want to call it. I'm down. I'm down. I will. Yeah, I'm because I've always been interested in just bothering society.
Right.
So yeah, let's do that on a professional level. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's
I
get
would
it
do.
done.
I mean, there's some people who do it really well, but there's a lot of people who don't, and it's like, man, if you get within earshot, could you imagine Ron DeSanctimonious, to borrow from the orange guy, and his family being on bumper cars, and you're at the fair, and everybody's pushed back, and you're just there, and he's stuck in them bumper cars for fucking 10 minutes, and nobody said anything hilarious. I would be like, I'd have the camera, and I would be like one after another,
Right.
bong, okay, that didn't
Right.
work. Hey, your wife, so, or whatever, until you got like two or three, but it's just the people who get in there and they like get all shaky, and then they, but it's like, just ask the fucking question that's gonna make them pissed off them, right off the
Right,
bat.
right. Have you seen these videos of guys that are like standing behind the golf tees and just fucking giving burn after burn to people teeing up for their golf shot?
No.
Those are some fucking great videos. I love
I,
watching that
I
shit.
used to commute to college, believe it or not, from one shitty town to another, but I would drive on the freeway, and there was a golf course, and there's one hole that tees up right by the freeway. So every day on the way to work or on the way to school, I would blast somebody on their backswing if
Yeah.
possible. Would slow down, speed up, pull off to the side for a minute.
Yeah.
Now,
So
those
they
gol-
can really, continue to yell at you and be mad and yeah, yeah.
golfers
No,
are becoming more and more unstable. I don't know if you've seen the video. It was more viral for a bit where the guy was ripping his shirt off, telling people, get off here. He rips his shirt off and he's like trying to like be all like buff or whatever, but he wasn't really buff, but he was
Right.
Yeah,
doing. But golfers are getting. I thought all of society, everybody's getting more crazy.
Oh yeah, the world's going crazy, dude. Which is why, by the way, that's why everybody's partying their asses off.
Yes.
Because like, eat, drink, and be merry. Because tomorrow we die. You know what I mean? Like the fucking world's turning into a shit show. So people are just saying, "Fuck it, we might as well party this money up. Who cares about fucking groceries and rent?"
I started writing
fucking...
my name on my in ink on my hand before going to bed, just in case anybody slide. That's okay. There's a hand here. That's that guy who lived down the hill there, or up the hill.
I'm gonna take a cue from that, but I'm gonna write somebody else's name so they fuck it when they find me dead. They'll just attribute it to somebody else. So that would be.
Right.
I'll write "Call Man" on my hand. Call Man, Manchester.
Oh, like.
And then they'll say, "How did he get back in the country? He was
Yeah,
smoking weed in
illegal.
Arizona, and Agent Anders shut him down. He shouldn't be here."
Yeah. Your point about people being out partying because of the eat, drink, and be merry. I get that. That could definitely be part of it. But it definitely runs counter to this whole thing about how fucked up times are. And everybody's like, yeah, everybody's out partying, having a good time, from what I can see. And I know not everybody lives my life and is in that industry. But when you're out in a small town and everything in the area is party city on a Sunday afternoon, you got to think there's a disconnect here from the people who are just complaining about how bad things are.
If you even dive into any of it, or if you go deep on it, like just say one aspect of it, the climate, just watching the climate disasters. I've talked to a bunch of people who were like, "What happened in Acapulco?" It's like, never mind.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's too late.
Too
Flintstone
late.
went there and got hooked up with some jewel thieves and got a fake mustache and was El Terrifico. Oh, also a hurricane developed in a matter of hours and fucking blasted people out of their rich towers and shit. But it's just that, just get up in the morning and soak in 4 or 5 towns being flooded and stuff, and then you look at your micro dosing. It's like, this isn't the time for micro dosing anymore. This is the time to just take what you can. Somebody gave us some LSD in Austin, and we did a dose. I was like, I've been watching the news and stuff. I think we better take another dose, and that may be a bad decision. But it just seems like if you pay any attention whatsoever, and you've got any kind of escape or and I'm not saying necessarily drugs or whatever, but if you can get the fuck out and go up in the mountains or something, I don't think we can put off a lot of the good times anymore.
Yeah. Now, when you did LSD, did it last 22 hours? Did the trip last 22 hours when you took LSD?
Yeah, I mean it was a long one.
I
noticed when the passenger in the front of the Uber, she was this beautiful black woman, and she was smiling reassuredly that we were okay. And when she dissipated, I was like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, it's never good when the one who told you you're gonna be okay disappears.
Yeah, and I don't know why she was even with the driver. She was way too cool to be with her, so that was bugging me out. I was like, "Wow, what's this beautiful Angelica and this chick?" And she's hitting these overpasses like 100 miles an hour. It seemed like, and we're just like, "Okay."
Yeah, that's the thing I always hated about LSD. It just goes on too long, past the time that you're ready to get off the ride. It just
and then
keeps
something
going.
like 17 hours into it can be a bummer.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then wipes out, everything else.
And then it becomes a bad trip because of the last hour or two of it. Last week we had Vanessa Hollingshead on the program. Her father gave Timothy Leary his first hit of LSD.
Wow.
But she told her when she was 8 years old, and they left the cubes full of LSD on the table. She ate 9 of them. An 8-year-old kid eating 9 hits of acid, tripping her brains off, and they didn't know what to do about it. So
I
they
mean,
pumped her up full of Thorazine on top of it. 8 years old. I mean, just imagine. I mean, I know as an adult, I couldn't stand 9 hits of acid and then being pumped up with Thorazine on top of that.
well, I understand that being the answer though, because like, isn't the like effect of Thorazine to like close off the receptors?
It's to
You
make
know
you a
what I
complete
mean? And
zombie.
so like that's honestly probably the best thing they could have done is fucking shut down all the receptors that the acid was activating.
Wonder what Jeffrey Dahmer, if there was any science to what Dahmer was doing. Was he using Thorazine in his mix?
I
Because he was
think
trying to make a
I think
zombie.
something like that. I don't know if it was
Oh,
Thorazine, but yeah. Have any of you guys ever experienced Thorazine?
Yeah, I've
You've
had
been on it.
Thorazine a number
They
of I was
shot you up with it.
prescribed it for a time. Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Bro,
Wait.
I've been in a mental institution like 11 times.
Wow. Oh, that
Like on
explains a
top
lot.
of going to prison for 10 years. You know what I mean? And like I've
Oh,
been to
I was
treatment
in
like
I
seven
was
times.
in I was in 3 times, but I was doing volunteer work.
Yeah, no, I mean as a patient.
I'm surprised your paths haven't crossed before.
Oh, I have some narrow escapes from. One time they actually thought I was a patient, and I had trouble getting out.
Right.
I could see that.
oh
I
man, yeah, it
I
would
do
be.
want to clarify that most of those times I was self-admitted, so it's not like I get sent to the loony bin. Like I go check in because I get out of whack or whatever, and I gotta figure things out.
It doesn't
Uh,
help.
okay,
That doesn't.
Andy.
Yep.
Now my understanding is that like 13 or 14, maybe 75 years ago, they started working on a movie about your life. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything still going on? Is there? At what stage is it?
Paul Prevent is the slowest
Yeah,
editor
it's
who ever lived. That's the go ahead,
yeah.
Andy.
I've seen.
It's ready though, right?
I mean, I've seen what seemed like a finished draft or and he still had
Finished as
stuff
in
to
you're
do
dead
on
at
it.
the end? Finish as
Yeah.
in you're dead at the end, or
Right.
what?
Well, that's what when I got cancer, I called Stanhope because me and my daughter were kind of bummed out. Just we had the news, and I'm driving around, and I called up Stanhope, and I go, "Ha ha, I have cancer, and you don't." Just to try to lighten the mood. But then I called Provenza, and I go, "Hey, Paul, it's Andy. Hey, I got some bad news. I got pancreatic cancer, and I don't think I'm going to be around very long." He goes, "Oh," and he's all bummed out, And I go, "No, I'm not telling you as a friend. I'm telling you as a filmmaker. I've got an ending to the picture. A perfect ending. I mean, or it could have been, and he didn't even come down and do that. So, I
Yeah.
think I don't know. I mean, I've gone back and forth on what over the years on it. It started like 11 years ago with this, revenge, and really the best part of it was the revenge, turning it into a project, and then it's like a project. People were like, "Was it ever going to come out or whatever?" That kind of all just is background to me. Now because just I didn't realize it at the time, but I was only mainly just doing it just purely to fuck a guy over, and I think I did that. But the movie will be out. I think, I'm waiting for Paul to call and say, "Okay, we shot that green room. We did an update to things recently. That's the end, and it's all ready to go." And
Yeah.
but I don't know if it'll ever happen.
The problem I have with it is we don't want to wait till the guy's dead. You want to come out while
I
he's
know
still
I want
alive.
to go out. That's my plan. Is to it comes out and then get some press out in that neighborhood, West Palm Beach. Hey, one of the pedophiles in the community is going to be outed, or and then of course everybody's going to be curious as to which one is it. It's it could be anybody. How can we live like this?
You
And
gotta have a
then-
red carpet type of thing.
Right, and then I'll get Doug and Andy Letterman and a few friends to and we'll have a big comedy show. In that guy said, "Yeah, if he's dead, it'll be So we have to do it."
Yeah, now, is there a way to, let's say, have a preemptive funeral? So you actually can direct it
His funeral,
and then put that in the film so you can actually have an ending to the film that you're happy with, and yet you can still see the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm. At this point, we're. Yeah, but the thing is with. I mean, I could get. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me anymore. As far as okay, like I was thinking, I'll go do, maybe I'll get a bump in popularity. Maybe I'll get a few more clicks. Maybe it's like, the further I am into cancer life or whatever, the more I realized really nothing
Doesn't matter, dude.
matters that much. I mean, it does, and it would be cool, but if it doesn't happen at the same time, you just lay down your pencil and you're done.
Expecting to die can definitely change your outlook on life.
Oh man, my blood pressure has never been better.
Yeah,
I just
you don't care
Like,
about shit,
fuck it,
right?
man.
yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that they thought would kill you was like, no, my blood pressure's fine. I used to have high blood pressure. I used to have high blood pressure, but the cancer cured it.
Yeah, cancer ate away that fear of dying or whatever. But that's what I'm learning to deal with now with the cancer. Is like I was ready to, I mean, it took a minute, but once you get into it, it's like, all right, well, what am I gonna do? People are gonna remember me. My Wikipedia page is all out of whack.
Your Wikipedia page doesn't. Well, the one good thing is Inman has not invaded your Wikipedia page like he has your
it's
home.
like a Gene Hackman in The Unforgiven. You can't shoot me now. My Wikipedia page is all wrong.
Oh my god, dude! That's my favorite Western. Unforgiven.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, definitely perfect.
So I didn't realize you were. I didn't realize you were molested in West Palm Beach. Is that the kind of neighborhood where if someone
No,
moves
I
in that
wish.
doesn't fuck kids and
No,
neighbors talk?
that was in L.A., right? He moved
No,
to
I got
what?
molested in Silicon Valley before tech even was a thing.
Before it was trendy.
Yeah, so yeah,
Before it was
Menlo
trendy.
Park was where I got unripened or whatever.
Unripened.
And then that's when I confronted that pedophile in Florida, and then he brought a cop to the scene. So it was like, I did not expect that, but it was oh fuck, I forgot my point. Oh yeah, man.
I have a question. No, you said you had pancreatic cancer. Is it in remission? I was just curious because
They don't call it. I don't know. I threw away my last paperwork I chucked before reading all the
Read this
the
fucking.
But I don't. They won't call it. It's not remission. It's some other title for it. It's not. I think remission comes after a year or 3 years or something. So yeah. That's what I started to say about. It's like dying was one thing, but then it's like, oh well, now I'm on the other side of it, and I just got cleared. I don't have another scan for 6 months. It's like, well, I guess I got to do stuff now.
Yeah.
So your cancer
Right.
campaign is suspended.
The worst part of
Right.
it is people stop sending money for weed and stuff, right? So
Well, that happened. I think. I don't know. I could never. I think that was part of the pandemic. Because
Yeah.
at the early days of this the podcast and stuff, people would send money and shit, and I was like, all right, man, easy street. All I got to do is do what I'm doing, and people send money. And then I got cancer, and then I got a bunch of gifts or money for fighting cancer, and that's unfortunately what I'm using. My daughter has an account, and I don't get to use it for drugs or anything. Wow, the dog did that.
I did not.
My
But
sister had
it just kind of dried up, and then but it's like anytime I get an occasional gift now and then, it's like out of the blue, and it's like a surprise. Whereas
Oh, well,
before, I
by
was
the
like,
way,
oh,
you're getting one from New Mexico. It's on the way today. We wanted.
I know who
Greg.
that's from. Craig.
Yeah.
Craig, who bless his heart, would buy shirts even though he could never fit in them. He's an XL at least, a double X maybe, and
Yeah.
I think I sent him a triple XL. Craig, have you received anything yet?
I'll be right back.
But it's like, you get bummed, you get into the T-shirt business and you try to be inclusive, but you try packing around triple XL shirts,
Yeah, I have one triple XL in my two in my when I do t-shirts, and the funny thing is the guy always says like, no, I'm a 2XL. I said, no, I'm pretty sure I got a shirt that'll fit you. You don't have to kill you. He's like, no, I'll take the 2X. And they would put it on and stretch it out, and I'm like, okay.
Are there
Get the
Rev
stuff.
T-shirts? I haven't seen any. I mean, I know we have some on minddogtv.com's shop.
Uh,
You're looking
talk
for a
amongst
sample?
yourselves.
You're
Yeah, because
talking.
talk amongst
Yeah.
yourselves. I mean, you don't have to talk amongst yourself. I can
I got,
talk and walk at the same time, but I
I
think it's
got out of
rude.
the Shaylee bought me out of the t-shirt business because I
Wow.
had just like 3 or 4 smalls, and had them in Bisbee, and Bingo was like, "Oh, let me buy one," and she kept buying shirts, and then Shaylee bought them all, so I'm out. You know,
What is he doing? I mean, is he reselling them?
no.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool. I think is that. Do you have that in 4XL? That's what I'd get. Like
I
Craig
think
would be
that
like, "Oh,
four,
that's
well,
cool.
you're
You got
not
that in a
that big.
5X?"
Come on, you're not a 4XL guy, are you really?
Craig doesn't look like. I mean, like when you see Carl, you go, "That's a chunky foreigner." When you see,
Unbelievable.
A chunky foreigner.
I only knew how fat I was when I saw the side profile for Bisbee. I was like, "Fuck, I need to start running." Now I've injured my leg.
he'd
I'm
be
just
a
gonna
good
get fat now.
shadow. You know, he could be in his shadow, and Albuquerque wouldn't be as hot.
Yeah. Now, how much weed do you smoke? Because I smoke. I don't smoke as much as I used to, but people, and I'm not that much older than you, but people are saying I'm definitely getting a wheeze that they can hear audibly. Are you smoke enough weed to actually give you like COPD or any of that kind of stuff?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, but
Yeah.
are
I don't
you?
want to tell.
Wow, that's a
I
nice
don't
big.
want to do the big bad wolf story to a grandkid anyway.
Yeah.
And then wouldn't that make it a better? That's that one ad. Have you seen that ad? It's like a grandpa trying to tell the big bad wolf and he can't breathe. It's like
Yeah.
make that part. I would be like, that's part of the wolf. And the grandkid would be like, no,
Huff and
Grandpa
puff.
Wolf, you know.
I can't puff. I can't huff, but I can puff.
Yeah,
All right. Must
well,
be
the wolf
drunk.
shouldn't have smoked so many bong hits. Yeah, no, and I'm getting all these pictures and scans and everything, and they say your lungs look great. All right, man.
Did you ever
Cool.
smoke cigarettes?
No,
So
no.
I mean, I did for like 2 weeks when I was a kid or something,
Yeah,
but not
I
really.
tried it. I mean, I have I have the origin stories of a smoker. I just never really enjoyed it.
Right.
Tobacco never
I was on the
kicked
phone with
in
my
me.
brother yesterday. He said, "You sound like you're wheezing." I said, "I am. A pot smoke, And I really, if I do a joint a day, because the weed is so strong now. I mean, one joint can last me all day, really. But that you smoke that shit without filters, and then you get your fucking lungs full of that fucking resin shit.
Hmm.
By the time you get to be my age, people can hear it in your voice, and so
Yeah, well, that's the good thing about having a short life expectancy is you can,
yeah.
it's like when he told me, like 5 years, whether I'm good or whatever. I have 5 years, so I was like, I would like that in writing.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm already 2 years in, so I was like, next year, to start heroin. It should be on my calendar. Getting, if you know you're gonna die in 5 years, and you could be 100% sure, but you could really fucking go out the right way.
Well, you're gonna have to pay the bill, or he's gonna give you another 5
No,
more
you
years.
just get credit.
Yeah.
Credit. You just fucking burn credit.
That's been my plan since I was like old enough to understand credit and debt. Is that if I die in a ton of debt, I win.
Yeah, when they say somebody died penniless, it would be like fucking winner.
The garbage men are coming. It's Monday's
Trash
garbage
day.
day by Andy's house. It's garbage day here too. Trash man day. We should go out and do an interview with the trash man.
After all the
No,
trouble
I've
I had
heard-
with the mailman, fuck no. I don't get along with civil servants.
I remember that. Did that ever get resolved? That mailman issue?
Well, he came up. Really, the last time I saw him is he came up and he had a package for me. He gave me the package and then he walked a few steps away and he turned around and like, okay, here we go. Two fucking alphas about to throw down. And he goes, hey, are you a comedian? And I go, well, yeah, mate. I go, I have been. And he goes, my son looked you up. And and so then I was like, oh, okay then. And then he goes, and then we talked about George Carlin for a second. I still didn't like the guy. We still have a feud or whatever, but he, and then I was like, wow, he didn't, his kid didn't run across me. His kid Googled me because his old man goes, this guy's been making kind of, he might be a danger or whatever.
Rev, you just re-muted yourself. I know you went
Go
to
ahead.
unmute yourself, but you re-muted yourself.
Go, you asshole. My dog was harassing me.
Rev, you hear me? You just muted yourself. Okay.
I
You
think he
want to be
knows.
muted? Okay. All right.
Let's just keep it this way for next time.
Yeah.
Well, I think if Andy started running out of gifts of money, I think he gets one lie about cancer. If you've had cancer, you get to lie about it once more.
Yeah, well, it is a good. I mean, if I just said I have cancer again, but I think it's kind of like I don't know. My thinking is sometimes those GoFundMe's and stuff, especially mine. It's like people just going, well, I didn't hate the guy. I'm going to give a few dollars, but that's it.
Yeah.
He's he's dead to me. He's dead, and then I lived. So and then to go, hey, I still I guess.
Yeah,
Did we bail you out of cancer? I thought you were gonna die, and now you're.
That mailman guy definitely fed the content for Issues with Andy for a good 6 months, though, or even more. So
yeah, conflict is good.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to get fights going on this program because I realized the stuff that really goes viral for this kind of stuff is people arguing and getting in fights. So I've been trying to get Rev and Willie to get into fights, but they get along.
Here's the thing about this is I stood my ground. I knew I was right, but this guy was just like resistant to I wanted to move my mailbox up the hill, and it was like this fucking 6-month battle and shit. And then that fucking guy retired.
Wow.
He doesn't even. It's not even his. He was fighting a battle that wasn't even going to matter to him in a few months.
How bizarre is that? I mean, at that point, when you're getting close to retirement, you fuck everything. You dare them to fire you, or you just don't care about the job at all. To be that fucking gung ho when you know the end is coming and you're going to be on.
It was a power struggle over the dumbest shit. And,
yeah, totally.
And I'm glad I won the battle of the dumbest shit.
It's got to be a game show, a reality game show. The dumbest shit.
Yeah,
I think they call that Congress.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, Andy. I'm running for Congress in the 3rd district. I saw something. Maybe it was Craig saying something about last week they wanted to do a write-in for you.
Yeah. Well, I traditionally have run for any position that's unopposed. Like there's no write-in. It's just a write-in candidate, and then I'll see whatever it is, and then write myself in, and then my wife doesn't vote.
Well, why don't you just?
This is illegal. I can't say that I would vote twice.
Actually, do what I did and actually run as an independent and just be on the ballot instead of being a write-in.
Yeah. Well, I'm afraid I'd get something though.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
You don't want to win, right?
No, fuck no. I would want to be water commissioner just for the same reason anybody wants to be a shitty, Congress. I just want attention.
Yeah. Well, Plus, I would take the money and get myself thrown out. I want to get on the floor of Congress and do everything you're not allowed to do to get myself thrown out.
Like have sex with a page.
No. You can do that.
They all do that. That's like common business in Congress.
Oh.
I want to get in and curse them out and call them a bunch of fucking phonies and basically turn over the tables of the money changers, that kind of deal, and basically call them out about who do you fucking really work for. And, you're not allowed to call your fellow congressman a fucking idiot. So that would get me thrown out almost immediately. But I'd still take the check.
You can, but you have to preface it by saying the gentle fucking idiot from...
the gentle fucking idiot from West Virginia. I'd like...
Yes, yeah. You have to start... Right, you have to say the gentle in front of it. So like instead of the gentleman, the gentlewoman. Yeah. But other than, so once you put gentle in front of it, it softens the blow.
Right. I can't wait for the gentle woman from Colorado to take on the gentle woman from Georgia.
Well, I would like the gentle woman from Colorado to take on my cock.
Yeah, I mean, I think she'd get a lot of votes if every male voter in her district could sit next to her in a theater for just a minute and get their dick tugged and grab her tits and go, Well, that's more than any other politicians ever let me do to them.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
they
usually the
usually walk away
politicians are
laughing.
fucking us.
Right,
Yeah.
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 That's
Well,
but that guy, it looked like the first time he ever really touched a tit. Like he was trying to turn knobs on a fucking old time radio or something. He was just
who?
Yeah,
Bobert?
the
yeah,
sad
the
part
Bobert.
is what he had heard. See, the thing is, he had touched tits before, but they were always on Democratic women, and he had believed the myth that Republican women were somehow different than Democratic women. And somebody he got punked. He got punked
Yeah.
because somebody showed him an article from the Onion. He read it, believed it, and said, "Oh, so this is what you do to a Republican tit." That's all. He
Yeah.
got punked.
Well, she's not hot, but she did look extra busty in that little thing, and she
She's
does look like she'd give a serious hand job.
she's escort in her 20s, 30s, hot. You know, she knows how to present her fucking package at its
Yeah.
best, I guess. She
Yeah,
ain't.
she's middle America strip club hot.
She'll be Sarah Palin-esque looking in a year. You know,
Yeah.
she's like Sarah Palin looked hot for a minute, but
Right. Didn't Sarah Palin have a bunch of porn parodies done about her when she
Oh
was running?
yes, yes, Nail and
Oh yeah,
Palin.
I remember those. Yeah.
remember the chick who looked like Ted Cruz, and I think she did porn. I don't know. I think I blocked out of my memory until just now. But I think there was a woman who looked like Ted Cruz who may have done at least one porn.
Ooh, that's pretty gross.
Pretty fucking yeah, it is.
I think it's funny though.
Oh,
I
I
think
don't-
it's funny.
I don't think I'm gonna have lunch today because of that. Is there Bobo parody porn though? Anybody hear about any Bobo parody
check?
porn?
Yeah, McCall can check. I have to keep my browser history fucking clean.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, but I would just imagine since there was a ton of Sarah Palin parody porn. I would imagine there'd be some Bobert porn out there.
Yeah.
No?
You know what the problem is? They're probably having trouble finding out because you have to make parody something. You have to make fun of it, and she doesn't leave you much room to make fun of it.
Yeah.
You know, you go straight from to do a parody of her. You go straight to absurd. No one's going to believe the premise.
Right.
Yeah, there's at least 10 deep fakes. There's Lauren Boebert jerk off in destruction.
Oh yeah, deep
video.
fakes weren't around when Sarah Palin was running, right? Deep
Yeah,
fakes weren't.
yeah,
Yeah,
we've got those.
there's probably got a deep fakes of me out there somewhere. I'm
This,
sure.
how do you know? How do we know this is? We're not all in a deep fake here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
This is
That's
all
what I
deep
started
fake.
thinking in the on the LSD is like
The reason why I know I'm not a deep fake because I have a honeydew list, and I don't think a deep fake would go that realistic to have a honeydew list.
Now
So-
I want to talk to you about Honeydew because she ruined a perfectly good watermelon for a 3-second gag about Gallagher. What's the deal with that?
who Palin?
Him, Rev. He ruined.
First of all, Gallagher had died, and I was doing a tribute, and so the only thing I did was I squashed a watermelon and said,
a good watermelon.
well, yes, but actually there were two. I had a stunt double just in case that one didn't work,
Okay.
and that was the hardest part, buying two melons that were almost identical. It was like, that was and explaining to them why I wanted them. Yeah. So
Wait,
You heard of Gallagher too, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh, but it wasn't a waste because I used the melon to feed the animals.
Yeah.
Gallagher's brother is doing Gallagher's act, right? Or am
Yeah,
I
that
wrong?
was. I don't know if it's still going on, but they were estranged brothers,
Right.
estranged brothers. But brother was doing his act, and then there was like lawsuits and shit.
Well, my understanding was that when Gallagher 1 was tired of doing the business, he sold the routine to Gallagher 2.
Okay.
Gallagher 2, Gallagher 1 wanted to get back into the business, and that's where it gets all kind of crazy because now that Gallagher 1 is dead, the Gallagher 2 inherit the stuff that he was paying for. It was like, shit, if I just waited, I could have got it for free.
Yeah. That's somebody was on the program a couple of weeks ago talking about that who knew Gallagher or something, and I never even knew that his brother took over for that.
I forget which comic told me that they ran into Gallagher 2, I think, over on the road, and it was like a couple days after the gig, And I was like, "Oh, what are you still doing in town?" He goes, I got a lot of breakdown and cleaning." And it's just like, well, it's not all sledgehammer and fun. There's cleanup involved. And
Yeah, I would
Gallagher
think
one
you'd.
probably had a crew, but Gallagher two's there, with the
Yeah, that was
cleaning
part of
everything.
the scam. But Gallagher One had all these interns or people, low paid people, who come in and clean up after him. But they weren't part of the deal when he sold it to his brother, and then his brother had to actually do the cleanup work himself. And yeah, now,
Sledge-o-matic is fucking
yeah.
hours of cleanup.
Andy, you got is that a new camera you have, and do you
It
use that
is.
for issues? Because it's kind of like a trippy thing. I know
Yeah.
it's fisheye, but it's kind of trippy. It's kind of like a DMT trip. It's not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, smoke some DMT and yeah,
I want
it's
that. That
now that
woo.
you said that,
Yeah, that's very cool stuff. I like it.
I thought it was me. I thought it was me.
No, well, if it was you, wouldn't it be happening on everybody else's camera too, or just if it's just happening on Andy's? That's a pretty
Oh, I was
did
questioning my
Will
perception.
check himself into for a 12th time?
yeah.
I think he's gone back to Taco John's.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Talk,
the issues with Andy thing in a club. You did that in Austin as part of altercation, right? Altercation.
yeah.
How's that go? Well, I mean, is there a packed room for that? Is it?
It was in like a 2 in the afternoon, but it was fullish.
Yeah,
Most of the people that do that festival are there for the evening hours and stuff. So we did all right, and I like the rhythm of the live show.
yeah,
It's
absolutely. I mean, I
Nice.
don't like to pre-tape anything, but that whole doing it in front of a live crowd, it's got to be different than doing it just the four of you guys.
yeah, we had. I mean, like it was a one time. It was like I had film to show and stuff, and it was like, oh, we can't do that or whatever. But they. I was Greg had a few notes, and just from being around me a couple of days, and same with Brett and Chad wasn't there, but yeah, we just rolled through. But it was the drowsy shit. I don't
Oh,
know if you
Chad didn't
follow that.
come. Chad didn't
No, he
make it
was
up.
he wasn't able to make it, but a few. Well, I think it was one of our desert parties before shit went bad for me. Shaylee gave me a drowsy doll, which I had as a kid, and I told the story of how I threw it down over the hill onto the highway to get rid of it. And then Shaylee gives me one a few years ago, and then I get arrested. I get cancer. My brother gets cancer.
So it may have been a
Just
voodoo doll.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. And it got brought up in conversation when my daughter was here. Oh, and I go, yeah, I got my and and then I brought it out and I ripped its head off so I put a skin mask on it because it creeped me out. But I had a Ralph Wiggum's blow up doll. All right, it sounds weird, right? But I had a Ralph Wiggum's, and I had the Ralph Wiggum's mask. So
It only sounds weird when you say it out loud. Before you
right,
said it out loud, before you said it out loud, I was fine with it.
yeah. So I ripped the doll's head off, 3/4 of the way off, taking the Ralph Wiggum's mask off, and then I realized, this thing has been nothing but bad luck. It's like that Brady Bunch episode. Since I got this fucking doll, I got
It's a
fucking
monkey's
belly
paw.
cancer. Yeah. So we had a trip planned to go see my brother, and I decided, well, let's go by my old house in Coquille, and I had this scan coming up, so I'm going to find out if I have cancer, and I lost a lot of weight, so I figured probably have cancer, and I'll get rid of this doll. At least maybe I'll have a fighting chance at the end. So that's what I did, and I went back to my property, trespassed. They don't. It seems like they don't want people there anymore. And but I threw the doll, and I caught a great picture of her falling down in a car coming. I was like, there we go. And then since then, no cancer. Uh, I don't know if anything else good's happened, but no cancer. So
Well,
Wow.
you're on this show for the 500,
and
so
I'm on
that's
the
I think I'd
500th
say that's yeah,
episode.
yeah.
You-
Things are
Did,
looking up.
Digital
did air
cancer.
travel.
Yeah,
You're gonna get a
after
phone call, then they say the movie's ready to be viewed. Let's watch it.
Right. Yeah, I think about when I got it was an early catch at cancer, and then I actually somebody did tell me this. They go, "Oh, you should get a lottery ticket." It's like I don't consider,
Ah,
any catch of cancer. Okay, it's better. It's not all over my body, but it's like oh, it's like, oh, you're fucked, but hey, great, you're not as fucked as you could be, so that's good luck. No,
Yes, I was struck by lightning twice, and they were
what?
saying when I was in the hospital, they were saying that you survived 2 lightning strikes. You should play the lottery. I said,
Yeah, yeah.
don't you think that getting struck by lightning twice and living has like used up all
Right.
my luck? You
Right,
think
like-
I'm going to be that fucking lucky?
You
to
got
get
one
struck?
more. It's 3, right? You get
Yeah,
3 on the
no, that's not
Like
how
you're
that
laying
works.
down
Yeah.
after and you're like electricity coursing through your body, and you're looking for a pin to come up with 6 numbers, 6, 11, Powerball. Oh shit!
I was lucky that I could say Powerball after that. But man, I did want to mention something. You kind of scared me because you said monkey paw, and I was looking for like a hand job from my first wife because and I was scared. I was like, oh, don't do that, don't do that.
What was that? Hitchcock or something? The monkey's paw? I don't know. You got to be old to remember that. But
Fistcock.
yeah,
It's a Lorraine Bobert origin story.
trailer hitch in a car. Yeah, the monkey's paw was bad. I don't remember. It's too far.
I just had a horrible thought pop in my head as porn, Bobert and Marjorie Taylor Greene porn.
Oh,
I was like, wouldn't that ruin
No,
it?
that's out
double
there.
Soft.
That's out there. That's already out there. I'm pretty sure of it.
Oh, man.
Marjorie Taylor's like a Fabio impersonator or something.
She would be like legit. Okay, here's the scene. Bobert's busted, and she's got to go to prison, and she's got an
Got
attitude.
it written.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, is the fucking screw. She's got her nightstick, and she goes, "Oh, this sassy little bitch ain't gonna get away with shit in my Congress." And then they just go at it, calling each other fucking spitting at each other, calling each other fucking bitches, and oh wait, this isn't a parody porn. This is behind the scenes speaking.
Yeah, this house. That's
Picking speaker
actual.
of the house.
Yeah, that's it.
It writes itself.
And while that's going on, then this other, it's the aristocrats, and Mike Johnson's got a 14-year-old.
AOC.
What do you got there, Inman?
Your fist is covering probably the best.
Yeah, your fist is covering.
AOC, but I can't.
Stop fisting your phone.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
no, it
can't.
has to. It has to.
Oh,
The channel will get banned.
is that Marjorie and okay? So I'm
yeah.
gonna
Yeah, don't
This
be
is
fisting
AOC.
your phone in public.
What
But,
did you guys
but wouldn't
see?
it be the aristocrats with that that going on just when they're choosing the speaker, and then the speaker, he's a guy who adopted a 14-year-old boy to live with him as a roommate, but he never really adopted him. It's sort of like the origins of a really fucking twisted aristocrats.
Yeah, that's slavery. That they call that slavery when you snatch a black child off the street and raise it in your house against everybody's wishes.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard him a little clip of an interview, and he said it was like the movie The Blind Side, only he wasn't a football player. It's like,
Whoa.
So then, so you're adopting a kid.
And the
he can't
kid
even play
monitors
football?
his porn intake. Like, first
No,
of all,
that's his. No, that's not that kid because that kid is actually a grown man now. It's his 17-year-old son. That's actually they're what they call AA buddies.
accountability
They-
buddies.
accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah, accountability buddies. Yeah, which
He
I swear
probably-
sounds like a bad porn.
Maybe Mike, is that his name? Mike is monitoring his kid so that his kid doesn't run across a video of him doing a remake of okay, adopted boy, this scene, I'm a slave owner and you're Kunta Kinte.
Mr. Johnson's
Scene?
gay porn adventure or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
the
Yeah.
creepiest shit ever. It's like fuck, until all that shit. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it fits in with fucking, the good side is the one that rapes kids and it wants to overthrow shit, and it's like, I've seen enough reality. That's why I'm gonna start doing more mushrooms.
Carl, aren't you worried about that shit coming up on your browser history now? You're finding Bobo.
No, I used DuckDuckGo. There's no history on that.
Okay.
It's fine. But sometimes when you reopen the app, that thing comes up. You're in the library or something.
Did you guys see the Tom Jones impersonator thing that went viral?
No.
Tom Jones impersonator on stage, and somebody hijacked the screen behind the big the big theater screen behind him and put a guy fucking a pig on it, and the Tom Jones impersonator is just singing away, oblivious to the fact that there's
It
a
was
guy fucking a pig
it,
now.
it was a sheep and it
not.
was in Wales, so it was a xenophobic slur on Welsh people. But it
Yeah,
was pretty
don't
good.
mess
Jamie
with
liked it.
Carl. Don't mess with bestiality and Carl trivia, or bestiality trivia with Carl. Anyway, I saw. Well,
It's not unusual.
hmm
Yeah.
It is kind of unusual.
I don't
But
know.
Not in
I think
Wales. Not in Wales.
I don't think bestiality is a new thing.
yeah, but
No, no.
to have somebody film you doing it, probably.
Yeah, that's
Well,
only been around since the advent of the camera.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and the first person. Well, I mean, not the first person, but somebody with a GoPro at some point has put together some home video.
Yeah.
Not me.
You know that old video of that horse running is actually the second video they shot with the first with the camera. They don't show you why the horse is running.
Was it running to or from?
It was running from.
Oh.
Yelling wildfire.
Because they had not perfected lube back then.
Everyone's seen Mr. Hands, so I'm not going to be the only one.
Mr.
Yeah.
Who?
Mr. Hands, the classic of the guy getting fucking a horse. No, he's getting fucked by a horse, right? It's up a ladder.
Whoa, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
about
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
And,
And he died, but not during that video. The rumor was it was that video, but another horse fucked him later and killed him.
Whoa.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you just walk away with the glory of the one? And you gotta go, you know what? It did that first horse bucked me off. I'm going right back to that barn.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna show that other horse. Yeah. It seems like. I mean, that's like it's like my. If I got cancer again, I'm considering getting a windsuit and taking up a hobby. It probably won't last long. But it's like if that's your, if that's your thing.
I thought Willie might have gotten incarcerated again. He's been. I guess he's just having technical difficulties. Middle America strip
You know
club.
who William reminds me of? You won't know him, but Keith Ray. We talk about him on the podcast. He's a comic in Austin, Texas, and I think him and Will together would fuck a lot of shit up. I mean, just individually, probably.
Yeah. I want to get Will on Kill Tony. But the problem is, a minute he doesn't say anything in a minute. By the time, what he could say in a minute is hello. I mean, basically.
And he'd have to stand in an alley. Like they line up hours ahead of that shit on Monday.
Yeah.
Like, 9 in the morning probably. They comics heading there to go stand in line to be on Kill Tony.
To do 1 minute, you got to wait there for 5 hours. I guess it gives you plenty of time to rehearse your minute, but you would think guys would come on with a tighter minute.
I was considering driving to Portland to go do 10 minutes last night, but I thought better.
I was going to ask you, because I was assuming since Billy Wayne was in your neighborhood that you would be doing a couple of minutes there, but...
well, the show we did in Eugene was it was great. Everybody there is either like hash grower or make mushroom candies. So it's like vendors, so it's like, and the Portland show would have been a regular show. It's like, okay, I mean, I've got like chocolate, I got a lot of candies and shit to eat. And if the Portland, I mean, Billy's going to do those as a regular, set those shows up, and it's like shit, man. Like drunks are not a great audience sometimes. They can be the best part about a drunk audience is they can be stupidly over enthusiastic, and that can convince you that it's better than it really is.
Yeah.
The stone crowd, you just start talking, and if they're listening, they're listening, and if you get laughs, that's because it's funny. It's not because they're being coaxed by a really loud drunk chick to, or whatever. It's just
mushrooms or any psychedelics, you can just get the giggles, and that
and everybody there's fucking super high. I was super high, and then I looked at them, and it was like I just thought about how when I had a case that was going to go to jury, of how I backed out of it because I had to worry about it wasn't going to be a jury of people that looked like this crowd.
Yeah.
And then I talked about like I had a little cocaine in my system from Tuesday. I get pulled over on a Saturday, and my lawyer says I can't really the jury's going to take one listen to that, and they're going to find me guilty. I was like, not you guys or whatever. I just sticked around and did my thing, and the light came on, and then like, oh, that was good material or whatever, and I didn't really. It's like I was just talking. So I think you could, maybe the hash crowd is a
Yeah.
better audience.
Ted Nagurski asked the question: have you guys ever been to a black strip club? It's way different than a white strip club.
Yeah,
Complete honesty here. I've never been to any strip club. Never been to a strip club.
you don't have to tip at a black strip club.
Yeah.
No,
Says
Well,
who?
Rev was actually a stripper in I guess a gay black strip club.
Nah,
I think
I was a stripper, but it wasn't a gay club. It was for private for hire, so it
it's
wasn't.
called lightning strikes.
That's
Yeah. Actually, technically, it was lightning cock, but that's okay.
One of my nephews went to a black strip club and got all. I think if you're especially my nephew, I think it's just like a grift. Any grifter sees this and they go, oh, I don't even want to rob this guy, but he looks so he ended up withdrawing a bunch of money, having new friends for a while, getting crack cooked, like they fucking run amok for a while, and then he doesn't hang out with them no more. He went to jail and doesn't hang out there. But I figure if I would prefer to go to just to watch black women strip. Probably, I've seen enough white, for a while.
yeah.
It was funny. I went to a strip club with my nephew, and he had moved out of town, and so I had just gotten married to my first wife, and my nephew had met my first wife, but he knew her from like 10 years before. He hadn't seen her for like 10 years. And so we're in this club. It was I think it was called the Cheetah Club. It was in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And he says to me, I haven't seen your first wife, for like 10 years. What's she look like now? And I looked around. And I said, "You see that woman right there?" I said, "Take away the tramp stamp, and that's your aunt, boy." and he goes, "Oh my God, I can't." He says, "Now I can't ever look at her at dinner because it's Thanksgiving." He says, "Because now I'm gonna know what she looks like naked." I said, "Well, that's okay. I don't mind. I'm kind of happy for that. Go ahead."
It's just the kind of stuff that a man of the cloth should be actually talking about, though.
Well, yeah, but I was curious about Ted. I don't see his last name anymore. What was it?
Nagurski.
Nagurski. Okay, Kaczynski, Nagurski, same thing. Is there a particular black club that he's talking about? Because I know there's one in Atlanta called Magic City.
He's in Colorado.
Oh yeah, but he could have traveled. I don't. Yeah, because I don't live in Georgia, but I was down there on business.
That's what they should do it. I don't know how this is going to sound, but like Globetrotters, you get a van of hot black women, and then you have a whatever you call it night at your club, because most of them, it's like it's like traveling talent. Clubs have that, but it's just like a theme night. It's just going to be cool. I think it would crush.
Well, actually, I'm considering. I'm trying to figure out how to bring back the revival. Like the old revival tents. I want to do that with comedy and strippers.
Yeah.
And just take the revival, take it on the road. Have your comedians and strippers do a little bus tour, set up the tents in the field.
Set them out. Yeah, set them on the edge of town.
Yeah, set them on the edge of town, and then have the little shaky thing going on, and then move on to the next town. I'm still trying to figure that out.
I never actually was in a strip club, but I have played in bars that were not supposed to be doing that kind of stuff. That basically had like strippers come in and dance in front of the band. Strippers who were hookers basically come in and dance in front of the band and basically give out $20, $40 hand jobs and blow jobs and shit.
See, Ted was in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Atlanta.
So I guess that's the place if you want to go to see.
Well, see, at Magic City, that they're actually before you go into that. That's one of those places where you go in, and a lot of the women really are stripping and to pay for college. For real. I mean, you walking in there, be like women there, like, and you actually can talk to them about intellectual stuff, like highbrow intellectual, like pre-med chemistry stuff like that. They go like
what you were doing.
Of course.
I tell you, I thought
Yes.
of a name for my troop, the Globes Trotters.
All right, this works.
You
I
just
like it.
rip the whole thing off. They come into town and they got they got the pole on their van.
Yeah. Um, that with the one porn star I've had on the program. What's her porn name? Eva Lovia or something like Lovia. Eva Lovia. She's got a reel. I just saw this morning, which made me laugh because she's talking about the promise that our parents made that you go to college and get a 4-year degree and get a job. There has to be another way. And I'm thinking, you found your other way. You got rich fucking giving blowjobs on fucking on
Yeah,
video.
but now it's like a teacher can do a OnlyFans and make way more than that woman who's sucking and grinding for years and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And it's like basically taking that knowledge and then doing the simplest shit on it. I don't know. I've been looked at them.
Yeah.
I don't have money to throw at everybody's OnlyFan necessarily,
Yeah,
but it's
right.
like there's two teachers in one school who were outed for having it's like even if they only get like 30 or 40 of the parents, it's like if you could go back and go, oh man, my daughter's fifth grade teacher was hot. If she was, jerking off a cucumber,
Oh my God.
wouldn't I be, letting my kid down to not at least, try to get to know the teacher?
I wish there was something like that when I was sixth grade English teacher. She was, man, that
All
would be.
kinds of gray areas and shit.
But can we have an OnlyFans economy where everybody has an?
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah. Everybody wants to see. It's like I don't know. There's probably like 3 or 4 people who'd want to see me chuck off, or I mean, and then I'm an old dude, and my numbers may be way less than I think here. But if
well,
you
if
could get
anybody
like
reads your Wikipedia page, they're going to
right,
be.
they go, wow, this guy. Yeah,
Wow.
from my Wikipedia page, like he knows he works with Joey Diaz. All right,
Joey Diaz, Otto and George was never a part of that fucking unbookable stuff either.
Otto and George is so different, above, and I mean, you know who that is?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
that act, Carl?
I've heard. I don't know who they are.
Otto and George, you got to. I saw him. I was at a Chicago comedy festival, a decade or 2 decades. I don't even remember. It's a while back. But Doug goes, you got to go see Otto and George. So I didn't even know what it was, but it's a ventriloquist act, and a bit. The dummy was a bit racist.
A bit.
One of them, one of them was a crackhead. You can never tell who was who in that act, but I just remember, and the energy of a comedy festival is there's, like a bunch of people who, especially back then, a bunch of people who thought, oh, this will be cool, this will lead to something good, or whatever. And Otto and George, he gets up there and he goes, hey, how'd your set go? How'd your set go? Hey, drink some more bottled water, you piece of shit. Hey, you fucking piece of shit, did you get your development deal? And it was like, oh shit, he's talking directly to me. He's talking to that guy. It was just like, and saying shit you did not, it might be your internal voice pounding away at you saying that shit, but the fucking dummy just lit into everybody, and it was like, holy
He
shit.
was really shy and quiet until he
And
got on stage.
legendary stories about the dude. He used to. John Lennon was one of his fans back in the day. He would
Wow.
do, it was kind of a busker act or whatever, but a filthy dummy
Yeah.
doing R-rated
We had
act
him
on
at
the
a club.
sidewalk.
He came from New Jersey, and he was only getting paid $75 for and New Jersey to Eastern Long Island, where he it's like a 4-hour drive. He had to hire somebody to drive him from New Jersey to the club, and then he comes in and he's like really quiet. And Ralph, who was this is Carl's friend Ralph Dice Clay. He goes up to him and he says, "Listen, I heard a lot about you. You got to, tone down the racism with the puppet." And oh, sure, no problem. I'll behave myself. And he starts out like just right away. The first thing out of his mouth, he looks at a black guy in the front row. He goes, "Who brought the N-word?" Like, what the fuck, man? You just promised you were gonna fucking behave yourself. Yeah, he
Yeah, but
totally.
that's the only funny thing to do in that situation, though. If that's what he does, and you're telling him not to, he has to. He has to. Then he can
Yeah.
go and
I'd
kill
have to,
himself.
I'd have to say it's like,
I mean, I tell people all the time the quickest way to get me to do something is tell me that I shouldn't. You know
All
what I
right.
mean? Like
All
I
right.
probably got a little bit of
Don't
that
be quiet.
oppositional
That's
defiance
exactly what
disorder.
Keith
You
Ray
know what I
would
mean?
say.
Like I got a touch of that probably.
All right. Don't be concise.
Is that the problem? I'm too concise. Is that
No,
the?
you're not concise enough. That's the problem.
Oh,
Like if somebody pulling up to a Jack in the Box, you'd be like, "Hey, like, well, you know what I mean? Can I take it? Or can I?
okay.
Can I
So
tell
I
you?
did
Let me
it.
tell
I
you
did
about. You
okay
think
that time. Is that what you're saying?
you'd say this? You think this special is good? Let me tell you about the special we had 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I do that. I do. I'm sorry.
No, we're
God
not
damn it.
wrong about you.
I'm
We're
a
never
piece
wrong.
of shit.
No, you're not. You're you're a guy in an old shit hat. Anyway,
I am. I
yeah.
am.
Uh, yes, Otto and George was a very unique act, but we had April Brucker on last week. She actually was like she looked up to George Otto.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
She
was
looked up to
great too.
George. May looked up to George. Her puppet looked up to George, but
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
ventriloquists are, I think,
It's
just
a weird.
it's
I mean, it has to start from a weird place.
right. Yeah, there's got to be a
Yeah, it's
whole
weird.
fucking
It's
school
weirder
of
than
psychology.
I don't trust magicians and hypnotists. They're off, but ventriloquists are a level deeper. They've grabbed a tit they shouldn't,
Yeah,
But,
I don't know what Dunn's childhood looked like, but I don't think I would want to look at it.
Right. Well,
It's gotta be
April
fucking
says
yeah,
it's a guy proposition. She has a puppet May, May is a little bawdy like like Otto,
Like the
but
May West.
yeah, but she said somebody propositioned her and the puppet for a threesome. Now, who's more fucked up, the ventriloquist or the guy who wants to have a threesome with with the ventriloquist and our puppet?
Well,
So I
as
think
I
long
the
as
mean,
they,
I
if
think
the
as long as
the
ventriloquist
puppet.
everybody's
says yes, I mean, probably the ventriloquist.
I think the puppet is the one that's most fucked up because they're the ones that always ask for too much money in the deal, and and
yeah.
and they're the ones that
Yeah,
Well, I
It's like
understand they have like more of it takes them longer to get cleaned up after something like that. So yeah, I
yeah.
understand.
how about Sean Rouse's?
Yeah, you definitely gotta send
Oh
out for
yeah,
that.
Sean Rouse and with Junior.
With
That was the class.
Junior Stopka could does a pretty good Bill Burr impression,
oh,
and
that's
Sean
that's
Rouse
fantastic. Yeah,
looks like Bill Burr, and they did a puppet act one night. It was just great. But Sean Rouse would be like a fucking evil, disjointed fucking. If you could make a band
Bill Burr
doll
puppet
that
act,
looked like
I would
Sean
love to
Rouse,
do that.
holy shit! Hey, but yeah, it was a Sean Rouse had doll makeup. It was like probably the creepiest fucking version
it's a
of
great
Sean
video.
Rouse I've ever
There's
seen.
there's a YouTube video of that, right? There's got to
Yeah,
be.
Yeah,
yeah, there was
yeah.
at one point. I don't know if Bill Burr might have had him take it down. I don't know.
Wow. Speaking
Did
of
you see
Bird,
Bill
yeah,
Burr's wife flipping
yeah,
off the president?
yeah. The only problem I had is he was kind of keeping it subdued behind his back. I would have been in his fucking face.
Well,
Like,
do you see Kid Rock? I mean, it's like
yeah, Kid Rock is.
if I were doing something that Kid Rock didn't, you get sucker punched, not by him, but it's like
Yeah,
a weird crew walking by. So I could see, she could
Yeah.
have stood up and just shined it on him or whatever. But there's a lot of weirdness in a what was that in Vegas probably?
Yeah, it was Vegas.
But
Yeah.
around a UFC thing, and there's a lot of weird energy in there. So I would be hesitant to give anybody. I went to this was years ago. Doug Stanhope and me went to Vegas fights. Joe Rogan was there during filming
MMA.
Fear Factor,
Yeah.
so we got great seats and the energy of the fucking room and everything. And we started heckling. Or Doug was great at. I was nervous to heckle there. It was a little out of my league, We're sitting in front of NBA players and shit. We had that good of seats, but the early fights, Doug was heckling. The fight, going, make him come. That always knocks me out like a light, among other fucking gems. That one, both of the fighters acknowledged it. Like, shit, the early fights, it was like you could say whatever you were saying was echoed through the room, and then as it got
Yeah.
more crowded, we relented a little. But I remember Don King walks in, and people are like, "Oh, Don King's here," and everything. And Doug goes, "Only in America can you get rich by being a complete douchebag," or something to that effect that Don King had to hear. and shit. But the whole time I was just sure we were going to get our asses kicked and get thrown out of there. But we made
Wow.
it.
Now, didn't Bert give you a cold shoulder somewhere along the line?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think if you're, well, I was beneath meeting Bert Kreischer. I guess he was at he was recording in Denver a podcast at the lady that runs the club's house and shit. So it's like a real informal thing. It's like, it's like if all of us were hanging out, and I kept saying, "Hey, William," and saying that was cool or what, and then William just didn't acknowledge me. That's
Yeah,
what happened with Bert. But I think Bert's just really focused on Bert and sucking up to anybody below. Why would you suck up to somebody below you? He saw Doug Stanhope. Doug Stanhope was his focus, but I think he must have known who I was, but he just it was like dismissive to a point where it was almost impressive.
yeah. You know what was good? Will got Jackie Martling on the Bertcast, and Jackie acknowledged to Bert that he had no fucking idea who he was on the Bertcast, and it was a beautiful moment to see Bert have to suck up to somebody saying, "Listen, you might be famous, but I have no fucking idea who you are. I've never heard of you."
Yeah, I think he's kind of like moved into that role of a comic that a lot of other comics think sucks because but it's like I've not liked him from hearing his podcast years before I even knew who he was.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's oh, he's successful, he has a movie, I can't stand the guy. I just found his energy on his podcast was grinding, and Stanhope would put it on long road trips.
Yeah.
And then I found out, bring earphones and you can listen to something different.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a cottage industry now just based on hating on him, which is
There was a really good documentary called Try Too Hard or Too Hard or something like that, and it's just basically one man ripping on another dude's. And I loved it. It was like an English piece.
yeah.
So it was like real dismissive and in hundreds of ways that I like when somebody can, just wipe somebody out with two paragraphs or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think he's an easy target. Like people hated on Carrot Top and stuff. And I
Ted
think,
says he likes Bert better than Tom. I guess. I guess I have to, don't I? Don't I have to do
Wait a
it
minute.
then?
Is he talking about Burt Bacharach and Tom Jones? Blasphemy! Blasphemy!
He's talking about
Comedians who are funnier than Segura.
I've born recently.
I'm definitely. I don't know enough about Tom, but
When was the
I'm
last
Burt
time
camp
they
on that.
performed together?
They don't have to perform together. Not for him to just even make that comparison. He put their names in the same sentence. That's not
okay,
right.
all right, all
That's
right.
not right.
All right,
It's
all
Tom
right,
Jones.
fair enough.
Tom Jones is here. Tom Jones is here. Burt Bacharach is down. Here.
Burt Bacharach
Burt-
would agree with that. Is he dead?
Wow.
I mean, he would
Or-
have.
Bert Backrub. Yes, Bert Backrub is dead.
Really?
Yeah. No. They never performed together. How about that? They never performed together.
Did the Israelites claim Burt Bacharach? They claimed Tom Jones, didn't they? The New York
I have no
black
idea.
Israelites.
Yeah.
Tom
Anyway.
Tom Jones covered Todd Snyder's song not too long ago.
Really? What?
Yeah, talking blues.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I heard Todd Snyder's story where it's like he didn't even know that was going to happen, and
I want
That-
to.
yeah,
That's got to be pretty cool, though. I mean, I know because Todd Snyder's not like part of, the industry, the machine, the music machine. So for him to get covered by,
Yeah.
let's face it, Tom Jones is a fucking icon. In
yeah, and it's an interesting song too. It's a really fucking smart, clever tune. It's about reality and mentions Trump a little bit, but not. It doesn't. It's how we went from A to B,
right.
and ended up where we are.
Very cool. Well, good for him. I wonder how much if he got paid
I
on
don't
that.
know. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
You get
probably
paid,
not a
but probably
radio
like
hit.
$4, right?
Right? Yeah. The whole thing about how people used to be able to get rich with one hit or one song covered like that, that's gone. That's
Yeah, I
fucking
don't
gone.
think that, I mean, I heard it on the internet. I doubt, is there even a
Yeah,
top 40 where a Tom Jones hit could be played? But
and you didn't pay
Probably
for it.
What's New Pussycat, but then it will only be getting played because people will be banning it. They're saying you can't play that song, you can't play What's New Pussycat, and then everybody be replaying it to find out why you can't play What's New Pussycat.
Right
I
now,
didn't get it. I
before
listened to a Tom Jones concert outside of it, and it was I didn't go. I didn't get a ticket. I was out of town or whatever, and I got it. Anyway, it was very poorly attended. I think some of the concerts just didn't get a big enough audience or whatever. But I was listening on the other side of the creek, and he did a encore to the it felt like he was going to do it anyway. It was really like no energy left. It was all these old folks and shit folding up their chairs. They did the encore, and then I hit the trail before the last song. It was still playing, and then as I got around, here comes the fucking bus. There was like this big bus, and it's like, did that fucker? I still don't know. Did he sing the final notes while loading up on the bus? Because it was like a miracle. It's like, how did he jammed out of there during his encore? It seemed like get that bus going. I'm gonna do this song, and then we're fucking out. And it was like, and man, 4 minutes later he was fucking out of there. But it was cool that he did a full concert and an encore for less than great audience.
Very cool stuff. Now I have to say goodbye to Govs. Tony Walker, who is the host of Knock 'em Dead Comedy, is just coming up on the Governor's Radio Network. Tony actually hosted at Govs this weekend for Ben Bailey, which is cool to see. Tony and Fat Jay. Fat Jay opened for Ben Bailey, and then Ben Bailey was the
Tony.
headliner on that. So it's good to see Tony doing that kind of stuff, hosting for some bigger people out there, and good stuff. He's